We spend a lot of time talking about quarterbacks, and rightfully so. CJ Stroud, is he going to be elite? Can he take the Texans where they've never been, the conference championship game? Trevor Lawrence, is he overhyped? Is he now overpaid? Anthony Richardson, can he be a quality quarterback in the NFL? Can he stay on the field? Josh Allen, a.k.a. Will Levis, is he going to be able to be the guy for the Tennessee Titans? We spend a lot of time talking about the quarterback, and in the big scheme of things, it's all about the quarterback. But is the AFC South, as we know it, here in the locker room, is it actually the division of workhorse backs? And are we sleeping on the true key to winning the AFC South? And should we effing know better round here? Let's go inside the locker room. Number one source for Texans digital content.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah,
Running back. It's a position that's become polarizing. Some would say that the value of the running back has become diminished. Some would say that it's actually undervalued now, and we're kind of seeing that. And in a league of quarterbacks, a league of receivers, could running back actually be the key to the AFC South? And could the player that could be the key to that happening, could it be right in front of our eyes, and us in Houston are ignoring it? It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm Landry Locker. Be sure to subscribe, right along for the best coverage digitally of the Texans in the game. And be sure to ride along as the season is approaching. We're less than a month away from camp. Could I interest you in a stat? Last year, the Texans were 23rd in the NFL in rushing. Not good, but you can overcome a poor running game. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks be able to do that. In fact, though, to put this in perspective, only one playoff team, Tampa Bay, rushed for less yards per game than the Houston Texans. And Tampa Bay was a god-awful run team. They were able to overcome it in a pretty poor division. Kansas City, the Chiefs, they were 19th in the league, and they were able to win their second straight Super Bowl. So a lot of people like to point to that, but let's look at the other teams, the four teams that were where the Texans have never been and where the Texans are looking to go. The four teams that participated in the conference championship last weekend and where they rushed and where they ranked in rushing. Baltimore was first. Obviously, that's a little bit of a unique situation in the manner in which they do it. They got one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in league history in Lamar Jackson. San Francisco was third. Detroit was fifth. So three of the four teams were top five. Kansas City was 19th. The Texans, again, they were 23rd, and they've been insistent, Bobby Slowick and DeMeco Ryans, that they want to run the football. Speaking of running the football, JonathanTaylor, now with the Indianapolis Colts, and happy. Last year he was not happy. JonathanTaylor last season in 2023, he had just 169 carries for 741 yards and 7 touchdowns. Now, his season did end, and we're very familiar with this around here, with 30 carries for 188 yards and a touchdown. And now he's going to be healthy. He's going to be motivated. He's going to be focused. He's going to have Anthony Richardson in the backfield with him. And I think that perhaps JonathanTaylor could be the real key to the AFC South. You look at how JonathanTaylor started his career. If JonathanTaylor puts together a full healthy season, which he was unable to do 2 years ago, and then last year, I kind of look at it as a little bit of a flukish type of it. I mean, you look at it and you say he didn't play this many games. Well, he was also disgruntled. He was unhappy. A lot of business decisions. Once he found his groove the final month of the season, you kind of saw signs of JonathanTaylor. And had he not been on the sidelines at the end of that game against the Texans, we might not even be talking about a playoff berth for the Texans. I think in a league of quarterbacks and in a division of very polarizing quarterbacks, I think JonathanTaylor could be the key to the AFC South. And I think we are sleeping on running backs as a whole in this division. Let's look at some of the guys in this division. Let's start with Travis Etienne. Last year, he ranked 4th in the league in carries, 11th in yards, and he was 9th with 11 touchdowns. He's one of the more underrated running backs in the league. Speaking of which, Joe Mixon now with the Houston Texans. Last year, he was 5th in the league in carries. He had 1,034 yards, which was 8th, and he had 9 TDs, which was 11. He also has the money quote of the offseason. This was Joe Mixon talking about all the weapons that he has on this Texans offense.
Oh, I definitely think with how we got this offense rolling, I think that no matter what, I feel like everybody in this offense will eat. Your turn is going to come, and that's just, part of being in the offense that we're running. I definitely feel like with the weapons that we have, man, it's a hell of a thing, bro, because, usually I guess you got the young guys that's not paid yet, and you got the guys that's fortunate enough to be able to make that type of pay, come in and be with CJ. And by CJ being, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, bro, it's a hell of a thing.
He loves hell of a. I wonder if Joe Mixon's tried hell of a good dip, and he's a hell of a running back. Joe Mixon last year with Joe Burrow out, he was called upon to carry a heavy load in Cincinnati. But in Houston, he might not be asked to do that. And you look at the backs in this league: Joe Mixon, Travis Etienne, JonathanTaylor. Those are 3 guys that are capable of carrying the rock a lot. Tennessee, they just lost Derrick Henry. They got Tony Pollard. Who knows what the hell Tony Pollard is going to be coming off his disappointing season in Dallas. But I think as a whole, we are sleeping on JonathanTaylor. And I think in Houston, we should probably know a little bit better than to do that. He's been connected to this organization for a while. We remember coming into the draft in 2020, he said he wanted to be a Texan, said he admired Arian Foster. The Texans went with Ross Blacklock because they had David Johnson, and JonathanTaylor was one of the best backs in the league for 2 years in Indianapolis before the injured year and before last year. I think of all the things we're looking at, we're looking at the quarterback, and you got to feel good about that. We are very familiar. Last time JonathanTaylor was on the football field, we saw what he's capable of, and a motivated, hungry, ready to go JonathanTaylor. And if Anthony Richardson's in that backfield and they can make him kind of a threat along with him, it could be a very scary situation. I think the running back position as a whole, and you can sprinkle Mixon and Travis in there, I think it's being slept on. Now, I might be sleeping on Tony Pollard. Well, clip this and we'll visit this, but I don't think he falls into this category. I do think they have a nice underrated 2-headed monster, though, up there with the old Oilers and the Tennessee Titans. Is JonathanTaylor the real key to the AFC South? Are we sleeping on running backs in the division? Those are 2 questions. Give me your answers. Let me know what you think. I think this is going to be a really, really interesting division. I think it's going to be a competitive division. Obviously, the attention is going to be on the quarterbacks, and rightfully so. That's just kind of the way of the world. But don't sleep on the running backs. The running backs, I know we might have kind of lost the respect and admiration we had for them back in the day, but don't sleep on them, and don't sleep on that big mofo that we're going to see week 1 when the Texans take on the Indianapolis Colts. So it's the last time that we saw him. He was pretty effing good, and he was the best player on the field, if we're being honest. JonathanTaylor was. Be sure to subscribe, like, ride along. We're less than a month away from the start of camp. Going to be fun, going to be out there, going to be on the scene. And there's plenty more stuff coming your way as well. Thanks for coming through. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we